Hello everybody, welcome back to another edition of The Watch Collector. My name's Ollie. We're going to be looking at a brand called Carl Suchy Söhne. I'm excited about this and I'll explain to you why in a little bit. But first of all, obligatory wristwatch check. I'm wearing the Kadoki K2. So I was fortunate enough actually to go to a sort of mini brand launch for Carl Suchy Söhne last year, held in London. And it was a real privilege, let me tell you, because actually what they're doing with the brand, since it was reimagined, let's say, in 2016, is really something very interesting and very nice. A little bit of history first of all. Carl Suchy Söhne was actually formed in 1822 by Carl Suchy and assisted by 4 sons. It became pretty much the point of reference for Austro-Hungarian royalty and anyone in the know for around 100 years was interested and wore Carl Suchy Söhne, first of all, timepieces. Obviously starting off with pocket watches, clocks, and then of course moving into watches themselves. Unfortunately, as with so many brands, it started to struggle. It lost its way, and from 1914 until 2016, it was dormant. To celebrate its effective 200-year anniversary in 2022, it launched its first sports watch called the Belvedere, and we've got 2 versions here. We've got the Belvedere Danube, and we've got the Belvedere Day, and there's a third, the Night, which you might be able to guess is in a sort of a very dark grey colourway. Let's stick with the Danube for now. Integrated a bezel, case, lug, head on the watch, stainless steel. I was really impressed when I first saw this because it's something that steps out of that norm of watch manufacturers attempting to break into this particular sector by putting some angles in their bezel. As you can see, it's completely round, but nevertheless still has character, and it's subtle because the bezel itself is stepped not once, not twice, but 3 times. And that in of itself is something that I think they've done really very nicely. Plus, of course, you've got the combination of polish and satin finishing. It really lends an extra amount of height to the case without really adding in heft. On the side of the case, you've got almost like a sand blasted finish. It's kind of a matte look, which I quite like. It adds an additional level of sportiness to it. On the dial itself, hopefully you can see you've got what is actually superluminova. You've got Dauphine hands, see-through Dauphine hands, and probably the piece of real interest on this, over and above just the general aesthetics of the watch, is you have effectively jumping days for your date. So if I pull out the crown, there we go, and if I wind through the time, I should say I can't jump it because I don't have a pusher, but instantaneously we jump to the next day. I think that's a really neat touch, very different representation of the date. Not overly complicated, but it gives you that extra level of intrigue. Now, before we throw it on the wrist, we'll have a look at the movement. Now, the movement itself is a Dubois de Praz movement that's been brought in for this particular model. But what makes it special is the rotor. So the model, as I mentioned, is called the Belvedere, and actually engraved into the rotor is a depiction of the Belvedere Viennese palace. I haven't seen something as intricate as this in a rotor for quite a while, and especially at this price point. This is around £4,000 plus VAT, this piece. But overall, I think what this does is it shows the level of detail that Carl Suchy and Söhne are actually prepared to go to, even for one of their pieces that is, let's face it, compared to some of the watches out there, somewhat more accessible in terms of price point. On top of that, you even have this really quite interesting engraving on the inside of the strap. It's always nice. I think most watch collectors like to know that there's something hidden that you only use the owner know about, and that is a very nice touch. Again, quite rare to see that that kind of level of detail engraved on the inside of a strap. So that's the Danube version, and you also have the day version. I'm not normally a fan of watches with a light dial and light strap, but I've got a feeling I'm going to like this one. I'm going to throw them on the wrist now and see how they wear. So 42.8 millimeters in diameter, 12.2 millimeters in depth. It's got a presence on the wrist. It, oddly enough, even though it's a completely round bezel, something about it says aquanauts to me. And that's a compliment, of course, because let's face it, the aquanaut has been phenomenally successful since its introduction. Maybe it's because of the way that the rubber bracelet is integrated with the lugs. I don't know. I think it works really, really well, and I love the markers. I think they really add the sportiness to the watch. The beveling is extremely neat. It's a smart, sophisticated, out of the norm stainless steel sports watch. I really like it. That's the Danube. Let's have a look at the day. Deploying clasp buckle, love that. Yet again, I think I'm surprising myself. Very different look, but it works so well in my view on this sort of off-white grey strap combined with the white dial. Big fan of these, and £4,000 plus VAT approximately. You know, let's face it, you get into the stainless steel market in any of the big brands, you're paying at least double that, if of course you can get one of the watches. Now, with the Belvedere, each version, each color is limited to 100 pieces. So 100 in the day, 100 in the Danube, and 100 in the night. That's really nice exclusivity, availability, price point, good finishing, beautiful rotor included, really nice idiosyncratic touches, especially on the engraving of the strap. Overall, you know, what a way to wish itself 200th anniversary from the beginning of the brand. We'd love to know what you think about the Carl Suchy and Söhne Belvedere collection. My favourite is this. I wasn't expecting to say that, but would love to know what you think about it. Thanks so much for joining. We'll see you next time.